We're unable to start our video. Eric?
All right, stand by. You should be good now.
Hey, Tanya, have you heard from Alex?
I have not.
Maybe we can drag our feet for a minute or two here. Well, I guess you're going to be stuck with me. So let's bring to order the December 14th, 2021 Zoom meeting of Gig Harbor Fire and Medic 1. I need a motion to approve our agenda. We have a latest agenda that was emailed out just a little while ago. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Any current or future commissioner absences? My guess would be that Commissioner Wilsey is probably on fire business in Tacoma. So I would like to make a motion that he'll be, what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody help me out here.
I can excuse him.
Excuse, thank you.
I'll move that.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
I'm thinking, yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yeah, yes.
Commissioner Urbina.
Yes.
You know, my one chance to shine and I blew it. Okay, I need a motion to approve the November 23rd, 2021 Commissioner meeting.
So moved.
Minutes from the Commissioner meeting.
So move.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina.
Yes.
Motion passed. Voucher approval.
I'll move that we approve the vouchers as outlined in the agenda. Accounts payable, payroll, ACH, payroll transfer and wire transfer fees totaling $2,162,780.70.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina.
Yes.
Anything from local 3390?
I talked to President Flick today and he has no report.
Thank you. Chief's report.
All right, we're gonna start off with Chief Langlow.
Good evening, everybody. Just a brief report from me. And one thing I wanted to just of note was that this month we'll be bringing the monthly financial report, which usually happens the second meeting of the month, but in anticipation of a possible schedule change for that, we wanted to bring that to you this month. And so we'll be doing that later in the agenda. And then also we anticipate bringing to you updated policies. Sorry for the background noise. I'm at station 51 today and they are getting dispatched on a call. We'll be bringing policies forward to you at one of your January board meetings regarding respect in the workplace policy changes. Those policies have been were originated in 1998 and have been updated throughout the years, but we had a some recent training that was delivered by one of the industry leading law firms out of Seattle in the area of workplace, respect in the workplace. And we had them update our policies, and they are currently out to our legal counsel, Eric Quinn, to make sure that they fit his needs and expectations. And we'll be bringing those to the board in January at one of your board meetings. And Chief Doan, I feel like I'm forgetting one more thing that I was going to mention. Do you remember?
2022 assessed value.
Yes. Oh, thank you. So we did get the final numbers back from the county. And the good news is that our final numbers were an increase from the preliminary numbers, which is great. The more specific news, it's not bad news, is it was it changed little under $4,000. So really, at the end of the day, I suppose a very commending the county on their good work for the preliminary numbers, and got us really close to finals. And so we saw a realization of an increase of just under $4,000 from the original assessed value numbers we received a couple months ago. So that's the number we got from the county for the final.
Great, thanks, Chief. All right, first, I'd like to introduce Chief Oldenburg. He started last Monday. We were a little surprised when he showed up this Monday, but he's still here after 8 days. And in typical fashion, he's drinking from a fire hose like the rest of us are. But I'm excited to bring Chief Oldenburg here. I know his bio was sent out to you, and we've talked about him for the last few months. I'm excited that he brings the skills that we need, especially in his expertise in data analytics. We've talked quite a bit that the two things that we need to focus on in Gig Harbor Fire is that we need to be more of a data-driven fire department in both our responses and our data for operations, but also in finances. And that both of those are going to fall under Chief Oldenburg. So, we're expecting big things by the end of the week. But I want to welcome him and introduce him to you as a board. I know a few of you have stopped in and talked to him, but please help me welcome Chief Oldenburg. Typical Zoom, that's what we get,
Yeah.
So.
I'll pipe up. We're glad you're here, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, and commissioners, on January 13th, if you put it on your calendar, we are going to have, we've done quite a few promotions, and we are going to celebrate all of them, including Chief Oldenburg and Chief Langlow's. I don't know what it is. Is it a promotion, then a demotion, or promotion and then promoted again? But we're going to celebrate both Chief Langlow, Chief Oldenburg, and other lieutenants that got promoted recently. So January 13th here at headquarters, we'll celebrate that, do some swearing in and some badge ceremonies, and we'll get to congratulate all of them. I wanted to update you on our new recruits. We have 3 lateral paramedics starting and 6 brand new firefighters, recruit firefighters, all starting January 1. I think it's 1, right? Right, Chief Meyer, shake your head. I think I'm right. Yeah, the 1, and then they'll be here. We usually do a pre-academy before they go off to academy, and we don't have a lot of time. So we're bringing them in a little early on the 1st and the 2nd and the 3rd, so that the 4th they can go to Central Pierce's Academy. So that's why we had to start them on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd over the weekend and holiday, but that's what we had to do. Our training team, I really appreciate all of them. They're coming in and over that weekend, and lots of people will be with our new firefighters the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to get them prepared for their academy, and then they'll be at Central Pierce Academy. So we're excited about them all starting. We've got them fitted and ready to go. So any questions on our new recruits? I think I gave a report on our diversity numbers. Weren't quite what I had hoped originally, but I am excited that we do have 2 female firefighters in this recruit academy. And I have met with all of our current female firefighters to help bridge that gap and be mentors, and we're excited for all of our new firefighters. Last, in the chief's report, there's obviously a lot under old business and new business. I wanted to tell you all about our holiday potluck tomorrow. Commissioners, you're invited at noon if you would like to go. We're having a little potluck here at 50. If you would like to go, let Tanya know, because it is a potluck. So even though you're commissioners, you still got to bring something. And then we also have a little gift exchange. So she'll fill you in on that stuff, but we'll have it at noon tomorrow, and we'd love to invite you. I'm smoking a turkey tomorrow early morning, and smoking a couple hams, and we're gonna have a fun time together. So we'd like you to come if you can. That kind of wraps it up for Chief's report. We got lots down below, but any questions or concerns or comments?
Thanks, Chief. Anything from standing committees?
In regards to the
Hey, Tom, I'm not wanting you to feel alone tonight.
We're
Negotiation,
feeling our years.
yeah, in regards to negotiations, you'll find under new business, item C, that Alex and I and the chief and local 3099 are worked on that, and they're presenting it tonight.
Commissioners, I think that was the only committee that met. I think there's another one coming up this week, but that's the only one that's met since our last meeting.
Okay, let's see. Chairman's report, nothing to report. Finance report, is that Nick Langlow?
Yeah, Chief Langlow's gonna bring our finance report.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen here, or try to. Can I get just maybe one thumbs up on, you can see the monthly financial report? Okay, great. Okay, so this will be your, the Board of Commissioners monthly financial report for period ending November 30, 2021. Like I said, normally this happens at the second meeting, but we bumped it up in anticipation of maybe a schedule change for the second meeting in the month. So we are as of November 30, we are 91.67% of the way through the year. We have received the balance of our property taxes. We will still get some that will trickle in December, but we are just a little over $100,000 shy of our budgeted amount for property taxes, and historically in the month of December we'll capture beyond that. So which is good to report that what we budgeted in property tax revenue we expect to receive. And then the other revenue areas are tracking above budgeted numbers, which is good. Which as of November of 2020, we are almost just under 4% ahead of revenue from the previous year. Expenses on the expense side, we excuse me, scroll down a little bit here. On the expense side, our overall expenses are 88.83% spent, and again compared to the 91.67% of the way through the year, we are in good shape there, tracking under expenses. There's a couple different areas that are tracking over. But the overall budget, we expected those, and the overall budget, like we had anticipated in the late summer to early fall, we felt like any overages in certain areas would be absorbed in the remainder of the budget, and that's proving to be true, well within the budgeted numbers. And then at the bottom, you'll see our fund totals. Expense fund, $13,586,000 and change. Reserve fund, just over $6.5 million for a fund total of $20,133,667 and some change. So we anticipate having the December financial report for you complete by at your meetings in January. And then Chief Oldenburg will be working on developing the plan for the annual roll-up, which is a little more detailed than just the December report, and we anticipate that happening sometime around March 1st. So that's what I have for the November financial report, and I'm happy to answer any questions, commissioners. But if you have no further questions, that'll be end of report.
I've got one quick question, Chief Langlow.
Sure, Commissioner.
The under on the expense side, is some or most of that also because we weren't able to acquire equipment that we were planning on buying that's been pushed forward next year? Is that accurate?
Yeah, that could be a piece of, like an individual budget category, like that could be in like training potentially.
Yeah.
We may not have spent a certain area because of maybe we budgeted some equipment for training. Training in particular might be a reflection of COVID. We still didn't recover as much from COVID as we thought. So there are some things that will get pushed through for supply chain issues. They're one of probably 3 or 4 different factors for why we would track under in an area, but that would be one of them for sure.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thanks, Chief. Okay, we've got old business. Our capital facilities plan, Chief Doan.
Great. I am going to try to, hey, Tanya, will you come back in again? I'm sorry. Well, now it's got this, it's got Tom there. How do I get that one off? Little technical difficulties, sorry. I just didn't know how to bring that up. There it is. Thank you. Thanks. All right, I'm ready now, I think. So we're gonna go over the capital facilities plan. As soon as I figure out my technology there. So we presented this capital facilities plan a few weeks ago. We've been working on it actually for quite some time. We had a work session. We presented, Chief Johnson presented it at the work session. We got some feedback. Chief Johnson presented it again a few weeks ago. We've been talking about some updates the last few weeks. And today we are ready to finalize our capital facilities plan and have it be adopted. I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over it because we've went over it so many times, but I will highlight a few of the changes and the things we've been working on. As you know, this is how we're funded. We have our statutory rate limitation of 1%, but ours is at 6%. That expires on 12/22. We have the regular tax levy and the EMS levy. We haven't had a bond since the 80s. We don't have impact fees, and there is no fire benefits charge at Gig Harbor Fire. Our plan goals was safety for the public and for firefighters, planning for growth, gender equity as we continue to have a more diverse workforce. Our facilities aren't adequate for them. We want to decrease response time, upgrade our aging facilities, and improve decontamination areas to reduce exposure to cancer and bloodborne pathogens for our firefighters. I want to pause here for just a minute. I want to reiterate this, that we did hire our Rice Fergus Miller to do our capital facilities plan. The second paragraph is what I want to talk about. The building and construction industry is very, very volatile. We did this, and these numbers were taken a few months ago from Rice Fergus Miller. This is a plan. This isn't etched in stone. This is an estimate. As we go through this plan will continue to morph. It'll continue to adapt. It'll continue to change. Even though we adopt this plan as it is today, I want to be clear and have a caveat that prices are going to change, and we will continue to update it as we go along. We've made a lot of assumptions. Rice Fergus Miller's made a lot of assumptions, but in this volatile market, it is hard to be really precise. Also, even though I think Rice Fergus Miller understands the industry, and even though I think their estimates are as close as we possibly can, you never know the cost of a building until it actually goes to bid. Until you go to bid and you get prices back from contractors, do you actually know how much a building is going to build? Or how much a building is going to cost. So I want to be clear that this is a plan. Plans change. Plans will change throughout time, and also prices will change through time. First of all is the training campus. We've talked about the training campus quite a bit. It's one of my number one priorities, and it's one of my number one priorities because of the firefighter safety and our community safety. we've talked a lot about live fire training and continuous training, that driving clear to North Bend, the amount of time, it's up to almost 2 hours to drive there, taking people there on overtime, getting just a few hours of training and then driving all the way home. When we could have a facility on our own campus and we could have crews training on duty, is a much better use of our time. It also allows us to train more often. You know, fighting fire is a high risk, low frequency event, and it's very, very dangerous. And we need to do more than be a minimum standard fire department of doing live fire training every third year, once every 3 years. So it's a high priority, and it's the safety of not only our firefighters, but our community. And that's why I have put it so high on our priority list. We went over all the floors and what this will do. We also have Station 51. You know, Station 51 is in the heart there in Gig Harbor in the city. It's one of our main stations. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of things happen in that station. We have an MSO, we have a battalion chief, we have an engine, we have a medic unit. When we do get a ladder truck, the ladder truck will be housed out of this fire station. It's a large fire station with a lot of needs. It also has right now, currently has logistics in it, and we need to get some of that stuff out of the fire stations and into its own building. This station will need to be completely scraped and start over. It's a high cost for a fire station, but when you think about completely scraping the station, prepping the land, moving a fuel station, we have a fuel facility there, moving that, extending our lot, it is quite expensive. I see Commissioner Wilsey coming on board. This is the layout of Station 51 that we've went over. It's a two-story fire station. And this is how it'll sit on the property. And the estimated cost of Station 51 as of a few months ago. You know, one good thing that we have going for us is the same floor plan for many of our fire stations. And we only have to do one floor plan for them. And so Station 58 and 59 are the same. Again, for all these stations, it's upgrading the current ADA codes, coming up to current seismic standards and security standards. And then also, like we talked about a minute ago, having places for diversity, more diverse workforce, and then decontamination rooms, the safety of our firefighters. This is the layout of all those stations. It's the same for every station. And the estimated cost for 58 and 59. Again, 52, 55, and 56 are all the same layout and the same needs. 53 and 57, you know, these are great fire stations, and they're usable fire stations. And we're excited as we grow and as we have more resources to start putting some more resources at both of these stations. And they're great stations. But the one thing that we're missing at these two stations is that decontamination area, an area to keep our turnouts out of the fire station, a place to decontaminate our firefighters when they go on calls with bloodborne pathogens. And we need to add that on the exterior of the stations. But these are great stations. They're very usable at this point, but we do need to add some decontamination areas for it. And then again, 54 is the same as all the other stations. Our maintenance facility, we have a great maintenance facility right now, but we're in need of a little bit of storage and parking. And that was our proposal, to add some storage and parking in that area. We have done a few changes in the total estimated cost. You can see it's down to 112 million. One of the things that I removed, I think it was about $2.5–3 million, was for temporary housing. It didn't seem to me the effective use of our money and our tax dollars to do that when we have 9 fire stations and only 5 of them are staffed. I believe that we can, as we build these fire stations, we can move different resources to our current facilities and not pay that amount of money for housing. One thing that keeps blowing me away at the bottom is the sales tax of over $7 million for these projects. Other items that we have all of those buildings. We looked at every one of our buildings in our district and put that in our capital facilities plan. We also need to look at our rolling stock, from our engines to our medic units to our truck companies, SCBAs, and our communication towers and radios, and keep them on the forefront of our plan. Here's our engine replacements. You can see that we like to run engines about 15 years and then an additional 5 years as a reserve engine. You can see that we're at 2010 and all the way down to station 53 and 54 are 1995. So our apparatus are getting quite old. And our cost to replace those as of a few months ago was $775,000 for an engine if we were to order one like East Pierce. Our medic units are, we have a couple new ones, 2020, 2018. But once we start getting into our reserves and our deep reserve, it gets quite old, and we have to go into our reserves quite often. So we need to focus on replacing our medic units. Here's a cost that we got as of May of 2021 for our medic units of $325,000. Estimated truck cost, it depends what we buy. And we have a lot of work to do on a truck company. We don't know when we're going to get that. We have to build Station 51 to even house it. So it's out a few years, but we need to plan for it. It depends what type of truck we need. We need to spend some time answering that question. What need are we trying to meet? Is it to do truck work? Is it mostly ladders? Is it to serve the hospital? So we have a lot of work to do, but we do need to plug in about a $2 million cost in the future for a truck company. SCBA replacements, they're about $1.7 million to replace all of our air packs and all of our bottles. And they expire in 2023. So this one's coming up very quickly. Communications and radio upgrades, we don't have a price here yet. We need to keep it on the forefront. We're in the 700 system. Many of our partners and most of Pierce County is in the 800 system. We also have some in VHF, but as more and more departments leave the 700 system, at some point, we're going to be the only department holding the bag. And we need to start working on a plan to move our radios either to 800 or bolster up the 700 system. That's our plan. We've went over it quite a few times, but I'll stand for any questions. If you don't have any questions or comments, then I request approval of the capital facilities plan.
Chief, I just have one thought. I have to echo everything you've said as far as this is a fluid plan. I look at it and I'm just expressing my opinion. The timeline and the position of each individual item can change drastically. The board has yet to even, I'm not sure what my fellow board members feel about this as far as individual items. I do look forward in the not too distant future to having some very good discussions item by item as far as the firehouses, the ladder truck, we can't do much about the training facility because that's a conditional use permit. And frankly, we're pretty much married to that one. But everything short of that, I think is up for discussion. And I appreciate the chief saying that nothing's etched in stone, because politics and everything else is going to get involved in this. And I think we need to stay as flexible as possible and not just follow the timeline precisely. Thanks, Chief. You've done a great job with this.
Question? I got a question, Tom.
Alex is here.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Chief, one of the things that you haven't really brought up in regards to, particularly on the training facility, is that the potential that has for our region, actually, in regards to being used by other facilities for training, and the potential of that income that can come in. I mean, I see what just crunch time does, and where people are coming from Canada and California and all over the West for just that training program and what that brings in. And so the potential that we have with our training facility in regards to that and the potential income that can come from that will also be a big boost for our department.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I want to be cautiously optimistic. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver on this one because yes, I dream big. I would like, and I think it's going. This training facility could be a partnership with other departments. I also think with Bates College that maybe there's some type of a partnership there, and I do agree. I just want to caution because I don't want to make a promise that this is going to be a big money maker. This happened in my previous experience where a lot of people started looking at it as we were getting ready to build the training facility as a money maker. And then I want to be clear that we're building this for the Gig Harbor Fire needs first. And if we have time and capacity to grow and bring in other departments or bring in Bates Academy, then we absolutely should. And again, I dream big, but I don't want to set and I know you're not doing this, but I don't want to set an expectation that it's a huge money maker, right? We got to deliver. This is being built for Gig Harbor firefighters to train on. And if there is some time and if there is some capacity to partner with others, I absolutely am on board. But I just want to be cautiously optimistic and not overpromise and underdeliver that because it's a little hard sometimes. Let's say we went to Tacoma or anybody and said, hey, we're building this. You want to be part of it? Well, they don't even have it in their budget yet. They have other plans to do other things. And so I think we need to build it first and then work on the plans in the future to partner with other departments. And so I'm with you, Commissioner, 100%. I just want to bring down expectations a little bit about it being too much of a moneymaker.
Sure. So the build it and they will come is not necessarily in there, right?
Well, maybe. I think that picture on the front tells a big story, right? That picture is Bates Academy. And it's getting pretty, or not Bates, I'm sorry, North Bend, sorry. And it's getting pretty dilapidated. Again, it's a long drive and it's time for that to be replaced too. And I don't think that's our best for our firefighters right there.
Chief, one thing maybe you could add a little bit about the potential with the training facility is I know that you talked about a couple of meetings ago that we had to kind of scramble to find a training academy for our latest recruit class. And would having a training facility like this allow us in the future to maybe run our own recruit academies rather than have to farm it out as we have historically? I mean, does it create that possibility?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Not only for our live fire training being more regular, more consistent, not having to go clear to North Bend or other departments in the valley. Right now, we're beholden to either Bates or any other fire department in the county for our recruit academy. And we have to, just like I said, we have to bring in firefighters on January 1 because that's when Central Pierce is doing their academy. And thank goodness they let us in. There was a time when we had no academy to send our firefighters to. And I had to call Chief Olson and beg a little bit to get our firefighters in that academy. If we wouldn't have, I don't know what we would have done, actually. There's no room. Bates is full, and all the other academies were full. And this does, when we'll be able to hire when we need to hire, not when other people are putting on academies or working around their academies. So absolutely, we need to get the training facility for the safety, for the live fire training frequency, for our own, to run our own academies here. And then other people can come to our academies. Commissioner Wilsey will even let Tacoma in.
All right, any other questions for Chief about the plan?
Mr.
All right,
Chairman,
hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adopt the plan.
so move.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded, and I just want to make it clear to everybody out there, we're just adopting the plan. This isn't the means to the ends for the plan. This is just adopting the plan. So roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, that takes us right into Chief's recommendations regarding the plan. So right
You know,
back
as
to you,
we-
Chief.
Thank you. As we built this plan, I felt it was kind of my duty, and what I didn't want to do is just pass that plan and then you know, free for all is a wrong word, but just I wanted to kind of narrow the focus and bring a recommendation. I want you to know that this is a starting point, this recommendation for discussion. Like Commissioner Sudich said, we have a few months. Our plan is to not to pass what we're going to do until March 22nd. So we have a couple months. We need to have, I wanted to give out a recommendation, and that's a starting point for discussion amongst commissioners, amongst the community, amongst the stakeholders, so that this is my recommendation. And then we can move that needle, make it bigger or smaller or change it. There's no pride or ownership and authorship of this, that it's not going to hurt my feeling at commissioners or the community if we do something different. But this is just a starting point to get the discussion going amongst the commissioners and amongst our communities. So I wanted to deliver my recommendation, and then we'll take a couple months of taking it around to the community and getting feedback, and then adjusting to the things that we learn and the things that we hear. So here we go. You know, let me say a couple things first. The way I kind of envision this capital facilities plan is putting the funding of the plan in 5 different buckets. One bucket is a bond, obviously. One bucket is just through our general fund and our property taxes that we already have, funding some of it out of that, some of it out of grants, some of it out of a state loan program, and last but not least is defer some of it that we may not need to do the entire capital facilities plan right away. So those are the 5 buckets that I've put together. And so I'll go over those 5. First of all, it's my recommendation that we build the training facility with the tower, the support building, burn props, and an air compressor. And then we do Station 51 support building, Station 58 and 59. I'll get to the other ones, but let me talk about why I stopped here. It was hard. It was hard to decide where to stop because we do have, these are great needs. These are needs to have medic units and engines in these fire stations. This is what we need for our growth. There are other needs, but I think we can get by with them for a little bit. Also, I was a little leery at going out too far, right? Just getting these projects done are going to take us close to 5 to 7 years, right? And once you get over that 5 to 7 year period, it just didn't seem right to me that the volatility in the market, that we are projecting out that far, that we may not have enough at the time, or there so many things may change. It didn't seem to me to get a 20-year bond on something that we may not even start for 7 to 10 years. That just didn't seem right. So that's why I stopped at this point. I could be, as we discuss this, 52 and 56 are obviously staff stations that need some work too. The logistics building does too. So does the decontamination on 53 and 57. So we do have more needs than this. It just, it felt like the timing and the time to build these things was a good clean break. But, and that's the reason I stopped there in my recommendation. The second bucket is the cash into the year money, we'll call it. So we've already put in an end of the year money this year to buy a Type 3 fire engine to go to Station 53. So that's the $425,000. We're working on that right now. We're working with BME to build this Type 3 fire engine to go out to Station 53. We also have enough money to buy one medic unit. We might be able to squeeze out 2 this year. We're working on that. And then I want to put another $350,000 in a capital contingencies for maybe if we weren't to get a grant, let's say for air packs or something, we would have enough money to cash flow that. I also believe in the future that 53 and 57 editions, they're a lower price, that as we work through this over the next few years, that we may be able to cash flow through capital contingency rollovers, and we might be able to at least do 1 or 2 of those stations in the near future. Again, this is a plan. We can do the Type 3 apparatus. We can do the medic unit, maybe 2. The 53 and 57 would be in out years, right? State loan. I think we should, we're looking at how many to do, but between 1 to 3, probably leaning closer to 3 Type 1 fire engines. That number was around $800,000 each. We'll work on this over the next few months. It's going to take 12, 14, 16 months before anything like this is even going to be delivered. So we would be in the 2023 budget. So there's no need to budget in 2022. The car payment or the truck payment isn't going to come till 2023. So we have a little time to work on this, but I think that's the best way to pay for these Type 1 engines. I have a ladder truck here for $2 million. As we get to that point, again, that can't come until after Station 51 is built anyway. So this is a few years out. We got to decide what we're going to build, how we're going to build it, what type of ladder truck we're going to get, and we'll do that in the out years. I think there's an opportunity for grants. Well, I know there is. We just sent one in today for air packs. So it went in an AFG grant for air packs today, and hopefully we can take care of that need through grants. If not, we'll have to we have to do it. It'll have to come from capital contingencies. I also think there's an opportunity in the future for a grant for a ladder truck. So I put it in 2 spots to try to get it through a grant. If not, when it comes time, we may need to do a state loan. Now, again, I want to reiterate, just like the capital facilities plan, this is a plan. The only things that are really already decided is that Type 3 apparatus and the medic unit and the capital contingency. Those 3 are already done this year. As we move along, we've already put in for the air pack grant. So this is a plan. And for the bond, my recommendation is that we round it to $80 million. And we do training, Station 51, Station 58, and Station 59. I bolded it here. Numbers have been rounded for ease of reference. Numbers referenced are estimated and subject to change, like we had talked about. So I'll pause there. I think we have time. We need to, as Commissioner Sudich said, we need to go through all these projects. We really need to hone it down. We need to have a community conversation. We need to have partner conversations. We need to talk as a city with all of our partners and our community to get feedback on this, and then make a decision on if this is the right way to go. So I'll pause there and turn it back over to you, Commissioner.
All right, any questions from the commissioners on the chief's recommendations?
Not a question, but I would just say that and this is when Tom and Kevin were on the board before me, that I think we bought a bunch of equipment using state loan, and I think that in the past, and I think that it worked quite well.
Yeah, the rate is so low. It's I don't want to call it free money, but it's because we do have to make the payment. But it's a good funding source so that we don't have to come up with $2.4 million all in 1 year, right? We can and the interest rate is so low, it's almost foolish not to use it.
Agreed, and I appreciate Chief, you putting all this time and effort along with your staff into figuring out just not going out to the bond to figure out ways to pay for these enhancements to our response model. So thank you for that. All right, like Chief said, that is just a recommendation for now. It is not what we are going to do. We are going to have a lot more opportunity for community input and commissioner conversation, honestly, regarding this. So more to come on that. All right, takes us to new business. Looks like we got a resolution 2021-28. Chief Langlow.
Yes, we do. Let me get my technology lined up here real quick, so I can screen share with everybody. While I'm getting the that part lined up, just a brief intro overview on the resolution. If you don't have a board packet in front of you, in the 2021 budget, it was identified that we would transfer at the end of this year, we would transfer $300,000 into our reserve fund capital contingency. And so we're planning on doing that coming up here shortly. Let me screen share now that I got it up. Thumbs up if you guys can see the resolution there. Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner Sudich. So the Board of Commissioners, this would be to transfer from our expense fund into our reserve fund. And the resolution reads, now therefore be it hereby resolved, the Treasurer of Pierce County, Washington is hereby requested to transfer $300,000 from the expense fund into the reserve fund on December 22nd, 2021. And this is a budgeted expense that we were able to move from expense into reserves, and it takes board authorization, and thus the resolution in front of you. I'm happy to answer any questions, and if there are none, Chairman Wilsey, we would recommend adoption of the resolution.
All right, any questions for Chief Langlow on the expense reserve fund? All right, seeing shaking heads, I have a motion to approve resolution 2021-28.
I'll move it. Oh, Tom beat me to the punch.
All right, motion made, seconded by Bryce, since we beat each other to the punch there. So roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes, All right, looks like we got some surplusing of equipment here. Chief, I think you're on for this one.
All right, there I am. Good evening, everybody. So in your packet, you should have resolution 2021-19. We are looking to surplus a number of feet of hose. We, over the past year, probably year and a half, we've looked at some other hose. We've made some purchases to buy some hose that increases our flexibility and a little bit less wear and tear on our folks. And after hose testing, the list that's in your packet is hose that is no longer of use to us and therefore surplus. So we're just looking to surplus 227 sections of hose.
All right, any questions about the surplusing of hose from any commissioners? All right, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve resolution 2021-29.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, the next item on the agenda is the 2022, should really be the 2021, I believe, is that right? Collective bargaining agreement. We haven't done anything new here. I'll let the chief kind of speak to it, but Commissioner Incy and myself on the bargaining committee met with President Flick and Chief Doan and Executive Assistant Tanya Vandervate to clean up the collective bargaining agreement, to get rid of some of the redundancy and the double of the MOUs, LOUs, LOAs, MOAs, and clean it up. So Chief, go ahead. I'll let you speak to it here.
Yeah, I think 2022 is the right date because we'll be doing it today. So it'll be dated as of today that we've taken all of the MOAs. So when I first got here, I asked for a copy of the collective labor agreement because I wanted to read it and I wanted to be updated. And Tanya brought in a binder about this thick and said, well, here it is. She referred to it as the hot mess, right? So it had our negotiated contract that we did negotiate, but there was a lot of things that had been added, a lot of MOUs that had been worked on, MOAs that had been worked on, like Commissioner Wilsey said. And it was a little bit of a mess. And I just want to thank Tanya for all of her work because she's very diligent. She had kept track of every single thing. There were a lot of things that were inconsistent and formatting and years of just adding things in and adding things in that didn't make sense. And so she worked on that to create a good, clean copy. Like Commissioner Wilsey said, we did not add anything new. There was nothing newly negotiated. It was just putting everything in and cleaning it up so that we could have a good, clean, final contract. And we've put together a better process for our MOAs, how they're done, how they're formatted, so that this doesn't happen again in the future. And Tanya has done all of that work too. She worked really closely with President Flick to finalize this. You know, I know it sounds like not a big deal, but this has been a Herculean effort to get this done. And I'm proud of everybody and all the work we've done. So it's in your packet, but we now have a good, clean contract. And like Commissioner Wilsey said, it's nothing new that we haven't seen or had or or negotiated in the past. It's just combining it all into one clean document. So we'd ask that you approve this collective labor agreement, and then we'll be up for negotiations again next year.
All right, does any of the other commissioners have any questions? And I want to reiterate again, we did not change anything as far as the agreement or the labor agreement inside this. There was nothing new negotiated. This was just a cleanup of what was the existing agreement so that when we start to bargain the new agreement this year, we'll be starting from a very clean place and not dealing with what Tanya so lovingly called it, the hot mess. So anyway, if anybody have any more questions on this? All right, can I get a motion to approve the amended collective bargaining agreement?
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, the next item of business is not meeting on December 28th, 2021 due to the holiday season and folks having other plans. So if nobody else has any questions, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the December 28th, 2021 Commissioners meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Urbina,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, we have a couple of really new re-elected commissioners that we need to swear in. So Chief Doan, I will let you take it away here.
Great. Well, in the Zoom world, we'll try this, and we'll have to do it one at a time, because I think getting you coordinated on speaking might be difficult. But first, it's been a pleasure working with both of you, and congratulations. I'm looking forward to many more years, and excited to continue to work with you. So Commissioner Enzi, let's start with you. This is a little weird swearing in your bosses, but we'll go for it here. So Commissioner Enzi, if you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kevin Enzi,
I, Kevin Incy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am a citizen of the United States
that I am a citizen of the United States
and a resident and registered voter of Pierce County,
and a resident and registered voter of Pierce County.
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
and the charter and ordinances of Pierce County,
and the charter and ordinances of Pierce County,
and will faithfully,
and will faithfully,
impartially, and honestly,
impartially
honestly.
and honestly.
I tried to break it down into small bites.
Well, it's just that impartial, I missed it.
Perform the duties
Perform the duties
of the office of Pierce County Fire District Number 5,
of the office of Pierce County Fire District Number 5,
Fire Commissioner,
Fire Commissioner,
as such duty are prescribed by law.
as such duty as are prescribed by law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to another 6 years with you guys.
All right. Congratulations. Commissioner Nelson. I'll break it down into even smaller bites for you.
That'd be great.
All right. If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Bryce Nelson,
I, Bryce Nelson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am a citizen of the United States
that I am a citizen of the United States
and a resident and registered voter of Pierce County,
and a resident and registered voter of Pierce County,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
and the charter and ordinances of Pierce County,
and the charter and ordinances of Pierce County,
and will faithfully, impartially, and honestly
and will faithfully, impartially, and honestly
perform the duties of the office of Pierce County Fire District Number 5,
of the office of Pierce County Fire District Number 5,
Fire Commissioner.
Fire Commissioner,
As such duties are prescribed by law.
as such duties are prescribed by law.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Commissioner.
I'm looking forward to working with everybody for another 6 years.
All right, congratulations, guys. Look forward to working with you as well. All right, that takes us to 2022 committee assignments. I think we had a plan of moving some folks around. Do you have that up, or could you share that at all, Tanya, on the screen?
If you give me just a second, yeah, I can share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was in the packet looked like it didn't change at all.
Yeah, because we wanted to have a discussion about anybody's wants to move around. We've had some commissioners on certain committees for quite some time now, so.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would like to go on to fleet and facilities.
And I'm probably the logical one to come off because I've been on there forever.
Okay.
My suggestion would be, Bryce, you take my spot on policy and procedure. That'd be right in your wheelhouse.
Sure.
Just a suggestion.
No, that works. I think, Tom, at this point, the bulk of the work as far as the fleet and facilities stuff has been done now that we've approved the plan. So that makes sense to me.
Okay, so we got Tom to fleet and facilities. And Bryce, you're going to policy and procedure, is that correct?
Yep, that works.
I've only been on the
All right.
committees for 2 years. I mean, I can switch with someone if they want to, but I don't have a preference to move.
Yeah, I think I was looking at no, because you're good on budget and finance. It seemed like there was somebody, yeah, I think it was just, I was looking at you, Joe, on fleet and facilities for quite a few years, but you could probably just stay there.
Can I make
So right now we got, go ahead.
a year from now, you're going to be into negotiations. My suggestion would be Joe Urbina joins you, Chairman, on the labor management.
I would like that.
Well, actually, I've only been on there a year and 2 years, and I'm happy where I'm at on both my committees.
There you go.
My point being with Joe, Kevin, you were on the last negotiating team.
It's the way it goes.
Joe was?
No, I was not.
No.
Chairman, you have the ability to appoint all the positions.
Yeah, but I think, I don't think Joe has been on labor management yet. I don't see his name in the past years. Kevin's only been in, myself, we've only been on there a short time. So the only thing I was concerned of, we got you and Bryce switched with policy and procedure, and then fleet and facilities. All right, Joe. So I was just, yeah, you've been on fleet and facilities for a while.
Alex, I think my take is with the change of, with me and Tom swapping, maybe leave the rest the same for 2022, and then we do more of a musical chairs in 23. Because I think you and Kevin are going to be finishing the uniform negotiations. It'd be good to have the two of you finish that up in 22 and then move stuff around in 23.
And I really think it would be good for one of us to remain on the fleet and facilities because there's a lot of background there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yes.
Joe's attended really the work ramped up in fleet and facilities in 2020. There wasn't really much going on there until 2020. And I think it'd be good to have Joe around because he has institutional knowledge of all the meetings we've had.
All right. So, all right. The only changes we're going to do then is Tom to fleet and facilities, and then Bryce to policy and procedure. All right.
All right. I'll stop
That
the
deal.
share.
You got that, Tanya?
Yeah, I got it. I'll stop the share.
Perfect. All right. So that takes us to the election of 2022 board chair and vice chair.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to nominate yourself for another year as chairman. I think you've done a very good job.
I will second.
All right, I'm not getting out of this one, am I? I'm seeing all your guys'
No,
heads nodding
no.
like you already talked about all this.
How's that view underneath the bus that I just threw you under?
Yeah, yeah. All right, it's been moved and seconded for me to serve another year as board chair. I do accept that. So I'll just do all in favor.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, and then I'd also move right back at you, Tom, that Tom Suttich serve another year as vice chair.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion on that? Any other burning desires to serve as vice chair? All right, it's been moved and seconded for Tom Suttich to serve as vice chair. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we're back at it again. One more year. All right, thank you guys.
Real
Open
quick,
public
Alex.
comment.
Real quick,
Yeah, go
Alex.
ahead, Joe.
You and Tom have done a great job this year. Thank you for all the time I know you put in behind the scenes. I really appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you, and don't worry, you'll get your turn.
I want to echo Joe because I think this year in particular with COVID, with Zoom meetings, with the chief search process, with interviews, all that stuff was a huge amount of work. And both of the two of you did an outstanding job managing all that.
Oh, thank you very much, Bryce. And yeah, it is a team effort. So everybody on this commission has done a great job. We've done a lot this year. I'm very impressed. From hiring the chief to finishing the capital facilities plan to standard to cover to hopefully getting a bond out. That's it's all pretty impressive, I'll say, for a short amount of time here and for the times that we've gone through. So thank you everybody for all your support over the year. So all right, so that'll take us to open public comment. Please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. If anybody wanting to speak to the commissioners tonight. I guess I should look to see if anybody's got their hands raised or anything. All right, I don't see any hands raised. All right, so we'll close public comment, move to good of the order. Anybody have anything for good of the order?
Commissioner, I just had one thing and it was a little bit of a go back from the chief's report that I forgot. I forgot to update you on telestaff. It's mostly in the report that I sent out, but I don't know if you've seen it in the national news that Kronos, the owner of telestaff, has ransomware, and it's affecting government agencies all over the world, including us. And we're back right now with our staffing and our payroll, the pen and paper, and it's a mess. And you know, as difficult as it is for us, can you imagine some of those places? Chicago Transit with the thousands and thousands of employees, but
City of Cleveland.
Yeah, but our employees are taking it in stride. You know, it's frustrating, it's hard. Scott Booth, the battalion chief, the first day just had to send out, tell me where you're at and where you're working to start a roster. So it's been difficult, but our employees are doing a great job, especially the battalion chiefs, especially Katrina and payroll. And Lisa has been helping the battalion chief. We put her on full-time doing that, and she's doing a great job. And so everybody's jumping to help. The second thing, I feel bad that when I was given my capital facilities report and recommendation that Chief Johnson did most of this work along with Chief Watson and they did, and Chief Burgess. This was years of work, and I came in at the final hour and took it over the finish line because Chief Johnson had that surgery. But I want to thank him and Chief Watson for all the work that they put into that. So, and then last but not least, you had mentioned some of the accomplishments this year. In January, I'll bring you a longer list. But we had a command and general staff meeting today, and we listed out that when I got here, our thematic goal, our number one thing in this department was to deliver a capital facilities plan with a funding proposal to you by November. We were 2 weeks late, but incorporated in that, we had to do a standard to cover, a risk assessment. We had to clarify roles and responsibilities. We had to fill leadership positions. We had to do the capital facilities plan, and we had to do data analytics, which was all huge lift in only 10 months. And I just want to thank all the assistant chiefs and everyone for their work. But I will bring you an entire list in January of the things we've been accomplishing, and they've been working really hard. And I just want to say thanks. So.
Yeah, I was really hoping that that we weren't on the cloud here in the harbor, because I know the ones that have the hard servers like Central Pierce, West Pierce, they don't have an issue right now because they actually have their servers and control them. But for us and Gig Harbor, when I say us, Tacoma, we're also in the cloud, so we've been struggling through this as well. And I'll just say a recommendation: if you guys aren't using Google Sheets, that's what we reverted back to, because you can actually text people from the sheet. And if you're calling for overtime or trying to get a hold of somebody, you can just do it straight from the sheet, which has saved our bacon quite a bit. So it's a little bit more of a challenge to get it going in the morning. But just like in Tacoma, thankful that we got great people here in Gig Harbor that are stepping up and making sure that all the people are in the seats and we're providing the service to the community without any hiccups. So thank you to that. And then I also want to also acknowledge all the other assistant chiefs' work, to include Chief Watson, retired, and Chief Burgess, retired, and even probably Chief Nixon probably had a hand in working through all this capital facilities planning. So thank you to all of them, and also Chief Johnson and Langlow, I'm sure, and Bjurstrom and everybody else. A lot of work this year in general. So thank you guys for all that. And Chief Langlow, I see you have your hand up.
I did. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to quickly say a couple words with the board decision to postpone or cancel the 28th of December meeting, which I'm fully supportive, by the way. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody. This will be my last commissioners meeting in my current role. I'll be rolling back to battalion chief the first of the year. And I just wanted to just take a second here to thank all of you on the board, and then also to thank Chief Doan and all the command staff, the support staff, operations, and then specifically by name, our admin and finance team of Chi and Katrina and Jenny, Alyssa, my right hand, which is Missy, and then wish best of luck to Perry. And I just wanted to just say a couple words of thanks to everybody. And this has been a really good learning experience the last 7+ months. And thanks to Chief Doan for the opportunity. And just because I'm moving to a different spot in the organization, it doesn't mean that my commitment to the organization changes at all. It's just the number of stripes on my Class A coat changes a little bit for a while. So I just wanted to say thank you and appreciate all the support and look forward to working in a different role, but with the same level of commitment. So thank you.
Hey, Nick, as for myself, I really appreciate everything that you have done in your time in that position. It's been great working with you in that position, and I wish you the best as you do what's best for you and your family. So thank you for what you've done.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Commissioner NC. Yeah, and I think that's the one thing I didn't mention that is that, you know, the two most important jobs I have in this time of my life for a dad and a husband, and that's best done back on shift. So that's what we're gonna do, but that doesn't change my commitment to the organization.
Well said, Chief Linglow. Well said.
Well, we're gonna miss you. You know, we got the new guy, Perry. You know, I already met him, and you know, I think he'll be great. I trust Chief Doan and his choice there, but sad to see you go, but I know you're not leaving. So we'll see you at the meetings, and I'm sure you'll be back someday. So watch what you wish for. So,
Mr. Chairman, may I?
yes, sir.
I'm going to miss you, Nick, because you were one of the few Husky people in headquarters. And I'm sure there's a lot less now. Good job, though.
Yeah, there is less, but I will tell you, Commissioner Sudich, part of the reason that the 4th platoon is purple is because Husky purple is the best color there is. So just there's always that lasting, you know, impact that I left.
Oh, look at that obscene gesture.
All right. Any other good of the order here?
Alex, just briefly, well, first off, I just looked back at my wife's diploma from the University of Washington. So Tom and Nick, I just wanted to add that. But anyway, I wanted to say that I attended 2 of the Santa Run events last week. And as usual, that's one of, I think, the best things that this department does in the community. You can see the level of support and appreciation that people have for everybody that volunteered. And there's a long list of people that participated. But I think Ben Olmsted is the one that's in charge of the Santa Runs now. And so I wanted to single him out and express my appreciation for him doing the work that he does to put that event together, because I know the community appreciates it. I know this is Chief Doan's first time doing it, his first experience. I met Chief Oldenburg at the event that I attended. And I just think it's something that's really great for the community.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And yeah, it's well said. All right. Special interest upcoming events. We have December 18th, 4 days from now, the Gig Harbor Lighted Car Parade. We got a rig, and is Santa going to be in there, or is the bunny, the Christmas Story bunny, is he going to be in that parade, or who's going?
I don't think the bunny's going to show up anymore.
Bunny's my favorite.
I bet he is.
Are we going to have a rig in the parade, though? I'm
Yeah.
sure. I hope. Yep.
Yes, we are.
All right. With that, everybody have a safe and happy holiday season, and we'll see you all back here next year. Our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. This
Happy
meeting's
holidays.
adjourned.
Good night.
Right now.